Your host, Rory187. Today I'm accompanied by my co-host, Mr. Gameaholic. How are you doing, Mr. Gameaholic?
Doing pretty good, bro. How about yourself?
Pretty well, pretty well. Cannot even complain. And we also have the Vice President here representing the presidential staff, Mr. Zanzarox. How are you doing there, pal? Thank you for taking time out of your day.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good. Well, you guys, we know it's been a little while since we actually came and talked to you guys, and we actually have a ton of amazing updates that we would like to share with the family. There's been a lot of things that have happened during the year 2019, and at this in particular point in time, we just got done having our second grand session. So today's news show is going to be full of updates and valuable information that can be seen to affect us in all of our platforms, not just one. So, without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into today's show. Alright. So, first thing first, we would like to actually take a chance to go back to our first quarter meeting and go over a few updates. Now, some of these are not really too huge, some of them are. Example, there's been a slight change in uniform from salt to silver. And for the Silver Crown commanders, this is a minor tweak, but it's something that you guys will want to know, just in case if it's asked of you in the future. Gameaholic, what's the next one do we have?
Okay, so this one is the first official additional bill. First one was uniform. This one is the first additional bill, and this was seen very important for the future TCK, and that being that from now on, all new white shields must pass both higher house tryouts to qualify them, all to assist in these tryouts if required. This shows that everyone is unanimous on that level. So, if a tryout can't be ran because there's not enough commanders on for that time, and there's a person on a tight schedule, that's what we could need it for.
Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, let's kind of elaborate on that. So, both higher house tryouts, that would essentially include stealth and watcher. And that means that the white shield commanders pretty much are all going to have to take time out of their days, even if they're in the lower houses, to get with the higher houses commanders and just make sure that they have the qualifications for those houses to assist with that. Is that correct?
That is correct. They will all be qualified to assist each other when they're done with this. So as they all have the right to run for vice president, they should all have the same qualifications.
Well, speaking of which, Mr. Vice President, how do you feel about that?
I totally support that. It sounds like it's a good idea to have more people trained to help out when needed.
Awesome. Well, best of luck to all of the White Show commanders. We hope you guys get with each other and sit down and get all your qualifications met. Now, next thing we want you guys to know is that the service tag retirement starts in Black Shield. When a member is elected, their service tag is put on a form of freeze, meaning that members cannot use it for this period of time. If a member drops back down to Gray Shield or member, their service tag will not be retired, but you may still not use if the individual reuses that service tag. So just remember, you guys, if you like your unique lettering of whatever your call out is, and you want to ensure that it's going to be protected, the best thing to do is join Black Shield, because at that point you take ownership in TCK's eyes of that service tag. Anything less than Black Shield, and it is a form, yeah, it can be jeopardized. You can either take it back up yourself when you get done with, running for president or whatever, or you can lose it. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Game, how do you feel about that?
I feel like it's a form of respect to a new time-honored member at the end of the day, because they've had to essentially, when they've gone from White Shield to Vice President to President, they've left their house, also leaving their mark, that being their service tag. And so when you become a time-honored member and you require a completely different service tag anyway for your level of business on that level, it would be very, very disrespectful for someone to just come in and take that tag that someone had perhaps worn all the way up to their White Shield level. Very disrespectful.
Respect. And Zanny, as a current vice president, this could potentially be your future one way or the other. How do you feel about it?
Sorry, the question feel about.
The service tag changes because you're currently a vice
Oh
president.
yeah, yeah. Service tags to be protected, but you have to be a president before to do that.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, well, moving on, Gameaholic.
Okay, so another thing you guys should know, and we will elaborate on this, the very reason that we're even recording right now is because we've, once again, as Ray stated, finished with our second quarter grand session. Grand session starts on the 17th of the third month of each quarter, totaling to 4 sessions per year. So you guys might be asking, what even is Grand Session? Why are we doing this right now? Well, it's very simple. Grand Session is literally the time where we will be accepting new bills and bylaws, submitting every half a year a new PDF file to support those, and also to be accepting new games, new branches to TCK. This is a 2-week session which allows everything to be put together where the highest level of government of TCK is able to sit down, take their time and make sure that there are no mistakes being made with the decisions. So, once every 3 months, this is going to happen. And that's the way we will be communicating with you guys from now on. So we can give you fruitful information and not a half-assed show that no one wants to watch.
Here, here. And it's very important for you guys to also keep in mind that Grand Session is actually open to the general public. You may not actually have a voice in Grand Session. You may not be allowed to throw an input in during Grand Session. But if you ever did just want to take some time to kind of attend, please get with your house commander, and your house commander will get with us, and we'll definitely try to make room for you guys. Now, outside of that, as Gameaholic just mentioned, we're going to try to meet with you guys via a Grand Session recording at least every 3 months. And game, I gotta agree with you. I think that by us taking the time to actually do this in a much more proactive manner, the information is much more valuable. So thank you for that. Next,
Absolutely, absolutely.
next on our list, if somebody replaces Dan at the end of the year and every year hereafter, whoever is the newly elected president, you're going to be responsible for upholding the previous presidential's jurisdictions in regular and their regular proceedings until a minimum of first term mid-year conference. So just because you're president, don't feel that, how do I put this? You're going to sit down and change everything about the universe, make the whole family all new. We are going to request that each sitting president does take some time to kind of get a general idea of what it is you're actually doing. Nothing worse than making a decision off of half the information. So please take time, whoever becomes a new president, to fully learn your post. Gameaholic?
Okay, so that brings us on to our next one, which is going to be. Give me 1 second. Ah, yes. One of my personal favourite ones. Every draft session, there will be a quarterly conference evaluation, which will be conducted by Black Shield for the commanding staff to ensure standards are being met. Now, what this means is this doesn't mean we're going to come and jump down your throats or anything like that. No. We are so excluded as the Black Shield staff from any one specific game. And this is our way of requesting once every mid-year conference just to see where all of our commanders are in regards to their understanding to their job when it comes to holding classes. So this means that you will get a rank based off of how well you perform in the eyes of Black Shield. This is not intentional to scare our commanders. This is just so we can relay to the appropriate staff where their commanders stand and where their house stands as a whole.
Here, here. To kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, Game, I personally like to look at this tool as a way of recognizing the white shields, in my opinion. As a good white shielder, you're responsible for all of the commanders in your house, not just the bronze, silver, but everyone beneath your rank. And this is really going to give us a chance to kind of see who truly is the best of the best for each year of white shielders. I mean, you guys never know. We may actually start doing something like giving the best white shield commander a new plaque or some kind of trophy or something at the end of the year to really just start recognizing the endeavors that you're putting in. But we want you to know that Black Shield recognizes how hard a lot of you guys are trying. And this is going to be a much more fair way for us to actually reward and celebrate those who are going above and beyond to ensure that their house is truly sitting on a pedestal when it comes down to basic family knowledge in TCK. So Zanny, what do you think about that so far? As far as the general grading going out for the commanders.
It's good. From what I've seen, it's been fair.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, next on our list, all commanding staff must show online when conducting their house events. Now, if you're a commander, you should be online anyway. Let's just go ahead and cut the crap here. If every commander, you guys are the face of TCK's leadership. You guys are. And if we don't want our members constantly hiding offline, then it's pretty imperative and essential that you don't hide offline either during any event. But more so importantly, for this in particular topic, if you're holding a scheduled meeting, class, doesn't matter, any TCK related activity, it's kind of hard for people to know that you're doing such a thing if you do not post it in WeChat, if you do not post it in the social club. And then when it's time for your actual event, you're hiding offline. That makes it truly impossible for us to actually recognize your efforts as a commander. And God forbid you do it during grand session, you're going to get a guaranteed zero. But as commanders, we just really want you to know that the members look up to you guys. And if they see you hiding offline, well, you set the standard. Just remember that. So, Gameaholic?
Okay, so moving on as well with a form of evaluations. This isn't so much of an evaluation as I would say on this next one, but newly promoted gold crowns will essentially have a form of evaluation and be questioned on their current knowledge as a gold crown commander. Missing knowledge will be given to the individual and the White Shield will receive feedback for future training methods. Now the reason for this is because if you did not know, as a gold crown of a house, this is the best way to put this is your first set of big boy shoes you're putting on. I mean, when before this have you ever had the chance to actually promote someone yourself, demote someone yourself within your house, even if they're only one rank below you?
True.
At the end of the day,
True.
you're getting ready for a different level of leadership, not worrying just about yourself, but also worrying about the people below you and setting your staff below you to follow up from you. So it seemed necessary that a member of at least the presidential staff level checks up upon your promotion to ensure that you have been trained properly, or should I say reminded of your training that you received, we'll get down to that later, previously.
Here, here. So, we're just going to move on, but I really do want to take some time to just kind of acknowledge that game. I mean, the way that, as you already said, we'll talk about that in a few moments, you guys. We will. I guarantee you we will. Okay, so moving on down the list. The scholarship program has actually been broken down into a new level. Now remember, every commander will get an opportunity and they must compete every level of the program before they can move up in the commander chain. Now the intake interview is something that is new to the commander training course. This is going to give us a chance to truly get to know our commanders and look at things from your point of view of what brought you here in the first place. It's a pretty simple set of questions, but it is interactive. Now, with the new interactive training course, it's going to go over 3 different levels, which will be bronze, silver, and gold. Now, each level is going to offer a well of resources when it comes down to what is expected of you as at that level, certain pieces of knowledge you should have at that level, and even give you a couple of training opportunities to make sure that you understand each level. Gameaholic, did you want to add anything on this in particular topic? Because I know this is kind of a big one here.
Yeah, so pretty much at the end of the day, every level has been covered, but there are also a few different things that you will see in there. The things that you wouldn't have seen before on the verbal version of the training. So one of those things is Spartan company management. That's one of those things. So it will give you a split on every step-by-step how to set up a club party, and how to manage everything in the Spartan company, including like a person's personal settings, such as their profile picture for the Halo Waypoint. Another one is social club management. So, social club management being, the parties that we actually. I'm sorry, I'm twisting my words up. The parties that we recognize as TCK parties. A step-by-step how to open a party. I'm pretty sure you don't need a step-by-step how to invite someone because that's all the same. But also making sure that you understand the reasons to why this is so important. And it's keeping out band members. Very, very important. Letting people see that you're online. Our social club is a very good recruiting tool. So if we have those parties open, everyone, how many is it now, Ray? Over 4,000 people will be able to see that party open.
That is correct.
That's a massive pull. And even if most of them, you want to say 3,900 of them not interested, okay, you still got pull about 100 people, let's say. That's very, very effective. So there are a few new things in this program, and it will completely break down everything to a T.
Yeah, and I truly do hope that you guys enjoy the new training course. Black Shield will be sitting with you guys and trying to collect some feedback about what you guys thought about everything in general. Zanny, did you have anything you want to say about this level before we move on?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome. You just sitting over there drinking your coffee. You're not even... Boy, you see? It's a fat rat. Well, I love this guy. Don't you love him? Shit, he's awesome. All right. Gameaholic, why don't you go ahead and handle this next one? I believe this is a more personal one. It's
Okay,
right
yes.
just before we move
can.
into June. Good.
Absolutely. So, I also want to take this moment to recognize a certain individual for being a true face to TCK, being in support of members, all of the members. But specifically, I am going to cover exactly what we did in a ceremony a few months ago. This has already been mentioned. Everyone already knows about this, and the individual is very much more comfortable with allowing this information to be said before anyone asks any questions about why it is being revealed. So, I would like to give a shout out to Mel, one of our newest Black Shield members, for receiving a promotion to become a Black Shield representing Guardian House through her training from Black Shield in a form of Green Shield, if you will, for specifically helping a member who has essentially been living in fear of showing their true identity to the family, how they thought they were going to be treated. This individual was Super Sniper, who has admitted that she is not a mute girl, but was actually born male. However, after speaking to Mel, was had the confidence to admit this, and from here on has actually been using the headset and trying to speak, which is a very, very big improvement, because at the end of the day, TCK, we don't care what your sexual orientation is, transgender, whether you're black or white, brown, what language you speak, essentially, to a degree. Obviously, they can't understand you, but you get what I'm saying. So this was a real service to someone who, essentially, if never was spoken to Mel, would still be living scared to be able to show their true identity. So I wanted to give a shout out to Mel for doing that, because at the end of the day, that's by far one of the most impressive changes I've seen in any member. So as far as I've gone for that.
You should be
Not even
goddamn
sitting
man.
here drinking this
Just sitting there
coffee.
drinking coffee, not doing shit useful, I swear. Jeez. Yeah, that's what alright. Well, and with
All
that,
right, I heard that.
uh-huh, Mr. Coffin Man. And with that being said, you guys, most countries, or excuse me, most countries, but most importantly America, is currently celebrating Gay Pride Month. And we do want everyone to know that we wish you guys a happy Gay Pride Month. It was in June for most of America. Not quite sure if it's in July for your country, but if it is, if it isn't, just know that TCK supports you 100% in your life choices and decisions. And we're always happy to be a friend, family, and a loved one to you. Always. So, with that being said, just thank everyone for everything. Now, before we move on to the additional bills, I want to take a few moments to recognize a few holidays that has recently transpired. One being Gay Pride Month. Second, actually being Founders Day. Founders Day was celebrated on June 17th of this year. It was a great event. People actually showed up, and we was able to actually honor Stealth House for that in particular ceremony. So I want to thank all that actually took part in that event as well. In addition to that, on June 28th, Ray 187, aka myself, have celebrated my 33rd birthday. So it was a pretty awesome event. In addition to that, on July the 2nd, our very own president elect, TCK Dirty Dan, celebrated his birthday as well. And if you had a birthday, we want to know about it. Please post it down in the comments below. TCK really wants to take time to recognize all of our members, but we're doing the best we can, you guys. Just know that. Okay, excuse me, additional bills that we actually added starts with the June section. Everything that you guys heard before was pretty much for March. But upon transferring to a higher house from the lower house on the left or right wing, the transferring member must use service tag SRUK, and that's for Stealth House as a recruit, or WRUK for Watcher House recruit. Now, the member must keep this service tag and not wear their house crown until they have passed the house tryout. So, one thing that's very important to keep in mind is that this is not saying transferring from higher house to higher house, but this is literally for any member that wished to get transferred. And as another little tidbit, upon transferring to a higher house from left or right wing as a commander, you will be able to keep your crown to show your position in the family. However, your service must reflect your actual true intentions upon where you're at and why you're placed there. Gameaholic, go ahead to the next one.
Absolutely. So there was a lot of debate regarding the younger members on how long they would have had to wait to rejoin TCK if they messed up. So we've looked back at this as a staff and come to the agreement that a Cub member that is removed from TCK will be able to return, will not be able to return until he or she has become the age of a knight. That's for Cubs. So if you leave as a Cub and you're 13, and on your 15th birthday, you can essentially come to a free-form court and basically see if the people are willing to give you a second chance. Now, if you're a knight member that is removed from TCK, you will not be able to return again until he or she is of the age to become a king. Now, if I want to emphasize on this just a little bit, whether you have to pay a fine or not is up to it's essentially up to your judge, more or less, because you could have you could have been immature or teenager. You didn't leave on a great consequence, but then you also could have been on the side where you were someone who left with a bunch of people, joined a toxic group, you was racist, whatever, which is a far worse offence. So although that bit's not specifically written, it's important to know that stuff that isn't written can still be put into ruling by your judge.
Respect. So, just to make sure everyone's on the same page with us here, we want you guys to just kind of keep in mind that Knights and Cubs, you're pretty much not even allowed to actually buy a premium membership. So, for that one reason alone, it's pretty much impossible for us to actually collect court fees from you. So, it's only fair and proper that if you are dismissed on any in particular lower level, we cannot accept you back until you're eligible for the next higher level. So do keep in mind, and this is also for all members of TCK, that TCK truly is a great community. For those of you guys who've been around the block a few months, few years even, you guys have seen people go and come right back. You've seen people leave and just hold up a I hate TCK attitude for the rest of my life type of people as well. But for the general vast majority, people that leave TCK truly do wind up coming back. And I just need you to ask yourself, we understand that people get mad. We understand that people don't always agree with how things work in politics. But is a personal opinion really worth losing all the stuff you worked for? Because there's enough people in TCK who's left and came back to kind of, if you ever sit down with some of them, they'll kind of let you know that it's probably more worth it to be patient, to keep a level head. One of my favorite people to talk to about these type of things will be Lone Wolf. So if you are considering leaving and you want someone to bounce your idea off of, I would recommend sitting down with the Watcher White Shield, TCK Lone Wolf, and just hear his testimony about if it's a good idea, great idea, or horrible idea. So, moving on. If you are a commander, we want you to recognize that we know life happens. We know that stuff changes and your baby mamas needs child support. Stuff happens. Life, it happens. You got arrested, DUI last week. Whatever. Life happens. And up until literally this previous grand session, there was nothing on the documents at all to even attempt to protect an inactive commander, even for a reasonable period of time. So, for that reason, we have decided that there will be a place and a document that will be allowed to be filed for a maximum of a 1 month period of time regarding a commander and their inactivity. Now, understand, this will not protect you or your house during Grand Session. If Grand Session comes around and this commander is still on your roster, even with this document being in place, it will still count as a 0 for your house, period, point blank. But if it's not Grand Session, there's a whole other, literally, it's 2 months or so before, anyway. If this is not during the Grand Session evaluation, and we'll just say that, your commander's mom is in the hospital, whatever, your commander lost their job, and, they believe that they will have internet in a couple of weeks, but they just need some time to get this working again. As a House Governor, you have the responsibility and the privilege and the right to now submit a document that will excuse your commander from any form of active duty for a maximum of 30 days. And I personally think that that's going to help out a lot. What about you, Gameaholic?
Absolutely. There has been a lot of misconception with the principle of having mandated activity, which will, you know, but there's a lot of, like I say, a lot of misconception to where people are misunderstanding what we're trying to say as a higher staff, that things need to be done. But we're all adults, so as long as there's the documentation of valid things to read, that states someone's gonna be away. Okay, I'll give you an example. TCK Max and Finn. Hi there, how you doing? Anyway, believe was excused from his job for a safety precaution. Now, if we had this, it would have been able to excuse all of these weeks of inactivity. Granted, it didn't say in ground session, it wouldn't have done anyway. But the principle is that we're looking out for a commander, and the spot can always be filled by a higher up or someone of even rank who is qualified to do so.
Here, here. And Zenny, how do you feel about that, Mr. Coffin Man? Folgers,
I
nothing comes close
agree
to the Zen.
totally, full-heartedly. I agree with everything you've said.
Awesome, awesome. So, all commanders, please get with your White Shield House Governor for more information about the inactivity paperwork and if you will be eligible to receive a form of clemency for your personal necessities in regards to your own individual life. All right, so moving on, Gameaholic.
Okay, so let's end this with a really small but still necessary change. So, there's been a lot of difficulty with commanders, especially over this grand session, trying to stay within an appropriate time for their classes when having to include a theory and a practical. And it is hard. It is hard. The whole principle of having such a short period is that it needs to be to the point, fruitful and helpful, and that someone does not get essentially bored or they feel like they're hearing the same thing over and over again and don't want to end up attending any more classes. Now, after having thought about it for a while, under the request of the president, aided by his staff, the class requirement of 15 to 20 minutes has now been changed to 15 to 30 minutes. This allows time for the new expectation of classes. Now, originally, people would they run maybe just they want to run just the theory or just the practical side, which could easily be done in 15 to 20 minutes. That is no longer acceptable. At the end of the day, for someone to learn, they need to be given the theory, they need to take in the information, and then they need to practice, they need to get some experience. So to suit that time, that extra time required to do that stuff without rushing it is the reason that this has been put in place.
Awesome. And, as you said, I think that it's going to give us a chance to make a much more fair assessment on the commanders. You know, to be honest, it was kind of hard for commanders to actually get a perfect score given the fact that there'd be just 4 minutes over that 20-minute window. And I think that with this 30-minute gap, 15 to 30, it is going to make it more fair. Just remember, commanders, that your class start time and posting of your class before your class starts is almost as important, if not equally sitting up there, as the class time itself. So we just hope that all commanders really take some time to, one, be kind of glad that you now have the extra time you need to actually do everything you want, but also just to kind of get familiar with what's going on and just make sure that you are providing the dual aspects of a good class. So now before we actually get off of this table and close out altogether, I do want to take a few moments here to kind of talk about the next and last few topics here. It's been recently brought to our attention that certain commanders are allowing randoms, if you will, to come into a TCK lobby and immediately begin to emulate our uniforms, imitate them, if you will. We need every member and every commander to be aware that that is unacceptable. If a person joins our lobby and they're having a great time, we're all having a great time, and we truly enjoy this person's company, the moment that we see them put on any form of a TCK uniform is the moment that we should be attempting to recruit this individual. We should be attempting to take this individual's interest in simply looking like us to actually becoming one of us. Now, if the individual does not want to become one of us, that's okay. But they will have to make changes to their uniform in order to be eligible to stay in the TCK lobby. Now, understand, we're not saying that this person wants to back out and go play by themselves, that, they cannot keep whatever they have on at the time, but if they are going to continue to be with us, if they're in any variation of a TCK uniform and they have not earned that rank, then it must be checked immediately and dealt with swiftly and fairly. We're not telling no one to start, yelling at people, cussing them out, but, treat everyone with a level of respect and kindness, but do the best you can to recruit them rather than boot them. But if they're refusing to even A, join, or B, make a change to their uniform to be accepted in the lobby while they're with us, then it is everyone's responsibility in TCK, not just the commanders. It is everyone's responsibility in TCK to see to it that that individual is removed and not welcomed in the lobby until they are either A, no longer representing TCK uniform, or B, an actual good standing member in that TCK uniform. Now, to some people, it may seem like we're twisting your arm and requesting the world out of you, but just remember, if you try to put on a cop uniform and walk down the street, what do you think is going to happen, Gameaholic?
They're going to ask you exactly the same thing, because at the end of the day, you are sitting there and you're basically trying to pretend to be the law when you're not, and that, in a sense, I'm pretty sure is illegal.
Yeah, you're going to jail. You're going to jail that day.
Basically, yeah.
So, I mean, if you decide to come up to me and you're wearing, any type of trunks and you got your boxing gloves on, like you actually know how to box, and I tell you to get in the ring so we can spar, and you don't know the first thing about boxing, I'm going to lay hands on you just for the principle that you look like a boxer and you don't know what you're doing. So, same thing could be said with the firefighter. Same thing could be said with a member of the military. Same thing could be said with a judge. Same thing could be said with even the people at McDonald's, okay? If you walk into McDonald's with a McDonald's uniform on and you try to walk behind that counter, you're probably going to go to jail that day because you're not a McDonald's employee. No one cares where you got the shirt from. You're not supposed to be wearing it in McDonald's. You can wear that shirt outside on the street. You want to go stand at the bus stop in a McDonald's uniform? No one's going to get mad at you. But the moment you go into McDonald's is when McDonald's has a problem with you looking like them. If you want a job there, get your ass an application and get the uniform the appropriate way. So, I mean, Zanny, how do you feel about that? I mean, do you have any personal qualms or anything with this in particular?
We need to have people in the right emblems.
You see, that's what I like about this guy. Man of very few words, but he say the important ones. That is true. That is so true.
Exactly.
I mean, Gameaholic, did you want to add anything to that?
I think everything's been. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. To be honest with you, there really isn't much else to say about it. You know, you haven't earned those stripes, don't know. At the end of the day.
Respect. So just remember, you guys, this is not only something that we're talking to your commanders about. This is not something that we're only talking to the TCK members about. This goes for Knights, Cubs, from the highest senior, most highest commander, even myself, all the way down to the lowest can't get right member of TCK. We're all responsible for protecting TCK's uniform. Don't let no one disrespect you guys, because you work too hard for this uniform to allow anybody to come in this lobby and immediately start pretending to be one of you. So, moving on from that, another thing I just want to take some time to mention is American politics. You see, in America right now, for those of you guys who don't live in this country, the country can be seen as kind of divided right now simply because not everyone agrees with our president. Not everyone even likes our president, I'm going to be honest with you. But that's besides the point. You see, recently I came to an understanding of something. It doesn't matter if I personally like Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if I hate Donald Trump. It doesn't matter who I voted for, because that person did not win. The person that became the American president that we have today, name is Donald Trump. And with that being said, I had to make a decision for myself in my own heart. Am I truly an American? Or am I an extreme right-wing individual where I pretend to be an American, but if America is not making me happy at the time, then, oh, fuck American government, I don't like how it looks, we need to fight the power. What kind of person are you? And I ask that because in TCK we have a elected president. His name is TCK Dirty Dan. And regardless of if you voted for him, regardless of how you feel about him, regardless of if you think his breath stink, I can personally give a damn. I am a patriot in the family known as the True Combat Kings, which means that I will stand by my president in any decision he makes and every decision he makes, because we elected him. Even if I, and for those of you guys who don't know, I can't vote. I don't have a vote. I haven't had a vote in any of the presidents. So I never get a say-so in who's going to be that guy that we call president. You guys get to decide that. And upon your decisions, I accept whoever you guys nominated and voted for on December 17th. Whoever gets crowned president by January 17th, I respect my president. And I need you guys to know that the election's coming up again soon. And when it does come up, you need to keep in the back of your mind that TCK is not even, okay? Not everyone in TCK has the same level of say-so. Not everyone in TCK will ever sit down and actually have a meeting with Black Shield. If you are a White Shield commander, you have your level of jurisdictions and responsibilities, just like the gold, just like the bronze, just like the silver. Everyone in TCK has a level of clout, but do respect and recognize that it is not until you are elected by your peers are you granted the ability and the right to actually make governing decisions on behalf of the entire family known as the True Combat Kings in respects to your particular branch or division or what you're doing at that time. So I guess what I'm getting at, you guys, if the president comes to you and says that the sky is orange tomorrow, respectfully, we should all be agreeing with him. If the president comes to us and say, we need to have at least one recruit a month, respectfully, we all need to be applying our best effort for our president to make sure that we get him that one recruit each per month. Because just remember, one day you will become president yourself, more than likely. And if that day comes about and you are a president in TCK, nothing's going to make you feel worse than knowing that you're giving your best effort to actually truly bring TCK into a new generation, but you're being met with great resistance by the people who, one, elected you, and two, who you promised to help, aid, and assist, and that all your decisions will always be in the best interest of TCK. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if I was the president and I had to fight with you guys every step of the way, every time I made a decision, to be honest with you, I probably would have went ahead and shot half y'all by now. Just Ray being Ray. I probably wouldn't deal with it. Dan is a very patient president, you guys. He's a very patient president. But moving forward, we have literally 6 months left in this meeting. Or excuse me, 6 months left in this in particular presidential season. And, yeah, right, long meeting. So Dan doesn't have much more time to actually do all the things he wants to do. But one thing that Dan doesn't have time to do is argue with commanders or to keep entertaining commanders' opinions about decisions he makes. If you don't like his decision, you always do have the right to talk to him as an individual one-on-one. But please be informed that you will be talking to a president who was elected, and their opinion always will outweigh yours because they're elected to do so. Never disrespect your president when you speak to him on a personal basis. If your president decides to get a wild hair up his ass because he don't like how you're talking at the time, he has the power to kick you out of TCK. Dan has the power and position to remove you over a conversation with him. We need everyone to know that the disrespect won't be tolerated. It just simply won't. So, members, commanders, everyone in TCK, just know that when December 17th comes around and you cast that vote, I don't care if your guy won or if he lost. Remind yourself of if you are or are you not a patriot. And if you are, then you will stand by your president no matter who the hell is next in line. Because he represents us and we represent TCK, and the president is TCK. Dan,
I
Sam,
feel like it's...
go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was
Um,
going to say it's also important to note that in regards to outweighing opinions, at the end of the day, you guys elected him. Whoever your president is, that's the person you elected. So even if all four White Shields are unanimous in submitting a bill, the president can still just wave his wrist and deny it. Unless the staff above him say otherwise. It doesn't matter how many people. It could be everyone. It could be the vice president all the way down. White Shields, commanders, members. It does not matter how many of you guys there are. Whilst he's elected, your opinion does not outweigh his. But that's pretty important to note.
Thank you, Game, because I mean, honestly, there is no better way of putting that. The president elect is there for this job, this reason. And if anything, if there's anybody opinion that he would like to hear from is Zan, the guy sitting right here next to us today. Zan is his vice president. He is his weight. He is his crutch. Whenever the president is unable to attend to any particular event, the vice president is always there as his aide. So the only person that we would even remotely entertain talking to in the absence of the president will be the vice president. So I guess what we're trying to get at, you guys, is every single president, true or false, Gameaholic, coming from yourself, empty Bick on down. Hell, every president on down. They all start off in Green Shield. They all went
Yeah,
through the houses. They all had to become a bronze, silver, gold crown commander. They all had to go through White Shield. Some of you guys actually had to go through a level of retirement before you got your White Shield. All to
no, it's
earn,
before my time, but yeah.
and that was all just to earn the right to consider yourself eligible for running for president. So don't think that we're showing the president favoritism because we like his hair or anything like that. But just know the president has been through and done everything that you're going through right now. And that's why we trust his opinion so much because he knows what you're doing and what you need to actually make your job that much easier as a president. And if you do feel like you can actually provide a next generation of TCK, then please, you guys, keep doing your job, stay in line, and yeah, next time it will be you actually making decisions on behalf of the family. So, Zanny, you have anything you want to say on that? Any presidential updates you want to give to us? How we got you here?
Let's play Halo.
Let's play Halo. Uh, man, a few words. Man, a few words. You know, you remind me of Luco Grazzi. You know that big dude from The Godfather? Dude only said like 5 words in the whole movie, but I think he killed 10 people. You know, like real. Oh, man. All right. Well, game, we only have about 4 or 5 more minutes. Would you give us a very quick breakdown of anything happening in our other jurisdictions, such as Clash of Clans?
Absolutely. So there's been honestly a butt ton of stuff that has gone on, and I'm going to make this quick and sweet because this I can speak about this all day. There's so many changes to the game since our last recording. So the first thing that you guys need to know is we're going to go off the most recent update to the game. They've changed a multitude of things. I'd say one of the biggest things they've changed is adding something called the Gold Pass, or Gold Season Pass as you may want to call it. Every season, there are personal goals, very much like the Clan Games medals, but this is personal stuff for you that you're able to go through and you're able to collect rewards as you go up the path. Now, there is I want to say it's a 5 times the value on the gold pass. Right? You have a gold path and a silver path on this journey. And you have approximately 5 times the value on the gold path. And you can only access this stuff, which includes permanent perks for the month, like 1 gem boosts, discounts on your time to build for buildings, research, and training troops, discounted times and costs. And each season, a new hero skin. You can only access this stuff if you have the gold pass. Your stuff is very minimal if you don't receive the gold pass. So there is still stuff in there for free-to-play players, but I highly recommend it. It's only 5 or whatever your currency is to $5, for me £5. It only costs that much. And all your perks last for a month. You get an epic hero skin. For example, real quick, if we just take a look, we have new models for the heroes that are all 3D. And so far, the King and the Queen both have 2 additional skins on top of their original one. For the King, we have the Gladiator King and the P.E.K.K.A. King, which is a nice little twist. You know, the P.E.K.K.A. looks like a giant version of one of the troops you play in the game. And for the Queen, we have the Gladiator Queen and on this current pass, we have the Valkyrie Queen. Again, another little twist of one of those troops. We could be expecting to see skins added to the Warden in future, seeing that the King and Queen now have 2 skins each. It took them a bit longer to get the Warden's 3D model out, which is why we don't have any for the Warden currently. But now that the 3D model's here, we can be expecting that in the future updates. Just understand that the pass is to be repurchased every month. And if you're free to play, that's fine. But the way I see it, it's worth it. It's like DLC. You're playing Black Ops 4 or one of the older Halos like Halo 4, you have to buy your DLC at the end of the day. So it's way worth it, take it from me. That's, I would say, is the biggest thing that they've changed this game. Another thing they've done, they've added 5 new hero levels. Absolutely crazy for the King and Queen. Town Hall 12, level 65 King and Queen now available. With that also comes a level 40 Warden, which is insane. Warden is really good with support. I don't know how many seconds the max is. I don't have my max yet for the Eternal Tomb ability, but it is going to be mad insane. And the final big thing for this game is they have brought another update called Operation Blue Skies. Now, if you guys have ever tried to push the Legend League 5,000 trophies plus, you will know how much of a pain it is, especially when you get to 5,500 or so, where you are literally sitting in a lobby waiting for legitimately 2 or more hours just to come across a base. That's mad. No one has time to sit on the game for 2 hours to find a base they may not even want to hit. So they've set up the update Operation Blue Skies to set it up like war. Your daily amount of attacks are limited. But let's be real, at the end of the day, you are not going to get 8 attacks in a day following statistics like that. So, looking at it like that, they've set everything up in the Legend League to where you sign up. You sign up for Legend League, and then you would set your base like you would in Clan Wars, and you would attack a multiple amount of times like in Clan Wars. The twist is, 8 other people will be hitting your base. And you have a set amount of trophies per attack that changes based on your ability per the base you hit. So if you get 10 free stars, for example, that's 400 trophies. Right? Now, if you weren't 3 star each time, you would lose less than you've gained. So it's all about stars, it's all about percentage. Proper skill to get up there. But because of the way it's set up, a base has been set, you don't have to wait for the person to go offline to attack their base. Just like in war, you can be online when the attack is happening. This is how they've come with a solution to the clouds. Matching is now instant in Legend League, and it requires more skill, as it always should have done. So I believe that's pretty much everything. That's a lot to take in. If you guys have left the game for the reason you don't like to push because it takes too long, or you need more stuff to upgrade, or you wanted some more personal rewards, it's now all there for you, including customization to your heroes. I think that's pretty much everything.
Well, it sounds like they definitely did a lot of updates to that game. I personally have been enjoying them. Every single month, getting about 25,000 gold and elixir. It's been wonderful. I mean, my hero queen has went from level 27 to level 37, actually, in just over 2 months, I want to say. So I could personally vouch to say that
which
updates have been
was
worth
borderline impossible.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
borderline impossible back then.
So for those of you guys who are interested in joining us on Clash of Clans, There's always room for TCK family. Just download the game either on your iPhone or on your Android device, Clash of Clans, and just get with us over WeChat. Either one of Black Shield can help you. So reach out to Black Shield and we'd be more than happy to see to it that you are registered with the newest games that we're offering and that you have a safe spot guaranteed for yourself. Now, last but not least, we're not even going to spend too much time talking about Summoner Wars. I'm just proud to say that our guild is definitely making an improvement. It's definitely doing a little turnaround now. And in addition to that, there's a free troop for anyone who downloads the game between now and August 1st. It is the Dark Vampire. He's actually a 5-star monster. A dark 5-star monster with free 6-star runes guaranteed on him. So they're basically giving you one of the best monsters you can even ask for that is new to the game. And all you gotta do is be simply playing the game right now and you will get it. If you miss this opportunity and we'll just say you download the game in December, you would have missed out because just like anyone that plays the game now, there's people who have these dragons and these dragon knights, which are really strong guys with axes. Anyone that plays the game now will tell you that they're practically impossible to get. But if you have this dark vampire as even one of your first monsters in your inventory, it really is a game changer, like for real. So, if you are interested in joining us in Summoner Wars, please reach out to Black Shield. We will definitely get you transferred over to it and make sure you have a nice warm place at the table. So, is there anything else you think we should talk about, Gabe, Sandy? Um, if you're in Elder Scrolls, keep your head up. We're working on you. Good job, Elder Scrolls. Proud of you. Same thing for GTA. All right.
I think that's pretty much
update.
everything, unless Sam has anything he wants to put down there.
Sandy?
Halo.
All right. All right. You see, that's what I like about this vice president. He's one-track minded. He only wants Halo. He said that like 2 times in this conversation. All right. H9, we want to give you a shout out for actually being present and taking some time out of your day to actually leave us a quick little message in our chat. So it's good to see you, H9. It's one of our good Guardian members here, actually commanders. Thank you again, Nate, for everything. All right, you guys. Well, with that being said, I believe it is officially time for us to get on out of here. Tell you what, Gameaholic, I got an idea. Grab a rubber chicken, a bucket, some mayonnaise. Oh, and Zanny, can you do me a favor? Can you go get us an old VCR player, 2 dub tapes, and meet me over by the water fountain? Let's go. Come on, y'all. Let's go.
Hell yeah!
That's a print.